It's time for a build again, and today we're breaking enemy spellcasters. Welcome to the Attic Dungeon. My name is Sam, and whether you want to break magic or the entire enemy spellcaster, I'm here to help you with everything. So yes, thank you for watching me. That's what actually all I wanted to say. I have very little inspiration for this week's promotional look at me part of the video. So if you would be so kind as to subscribe, click the little bell, leave a nice little comment below. That is actually all that I ask of you. Is it that hard? Okay, so we are doing another build. Broke my head for a little while about what I was going to do, and then I let myself get inspired by the internet, as one does, and I decided that it would be a nice thing to make a spellbreaker, not to break a spellmaker. Well, actually we are going to break spellmakers by making a spellbreaker. Ha, there we are. So, have you ever been encountered by pesky enemy spellcasters? Do you wish you could just smack him in the face and make him stop spellcasting? Have I got a deal for you? I have a wonderful little paladin build that is going to make you the nightmare of enemy wizards, warlocks and sorcerers and everything else that goes hibbity boobity at you with their fingers. So I already said we're doing a paladin build. It is obviously aimed at disturbing spellcasting. Now there's a few classes that are pretty good at this. Monk is also a really good spellbreaker actually, but I decided to focus on the paladin. Why? If you've ever played Warcraft 3, the expansion pack, is that Frozen Throne? The human race had these wonderful units actually called spellbreakers. Yes, I know they were elves, don't rub it in. But they were very strict and magic should not exist and we're going to wipe it from the face of existence while being magic addicts themselves. Very fun combination, but I like the general fantasy of that class. And I think building a paladin allows me to approach that in the best way because they do use some magic themselves and they prohibit enemies from using magic. So, how are we going to do this? Very simple, we're going to take everything that allows us to resist magic or break their magic. Race-wise, we are going to start out as a 1T or a Yuan-T, whatever you pronounce it, the snake people. I don't easily pick these because I think having magic resistance, like blanket magic resistance as a racial feat is boring. I actually prefer the gnomes, for example, who have magic resistance on all the intellectual saves, so int, whiz, charisma. But the 1T just have it on all of their magic saves. They always have advantage against spells and magical effects. That's a pretty good start for a spellbreaker. We are picking up the paladin class, of course, focusing our ability scores on high strength and high charisma. I took I took 12 in wisdom as well because I think it fits someone that wants to prevent spellcasters. You have to be knowledgeable, not just know stuff, but you have to be wise. You have to know how to interact with magic. You have to be cautious about interacting with magic. So I think like a 12 intelligence, 12 wisdom rather, fits the character. I dumped intelligence and dexterity and obviously took a decent constitution as well. There is actually very little of the level 1 paladin kit that we need, but hey, it's always nice to be able to heal people and sense undead and other unholy creatures nearby. The 1T also gets some spellcasting from their race at level 1. This limits itself to poison spray and is it not animal friendship, but you can only animal friendship snakes because you're a 1T. Obviously pick charisma as your casting ability score here because you're a paladin. That is what we're going to be working with. As we move on to level 2 rather, not going too fast. Our level 2, we take those first steps to breaking people's magical mind. Fighting style is our choice here. We are going to pick up the protection style. Protection style is the one where if you're standing next to someone and anyone makes an attack against them, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage because you're basically blocking them off with your shield. Now, how is this going to help me against spellcasters? Well, actually, a lot of the stuff that we're picking up is going to boost saves, actually mostly boost saves or impose advantage on saves or disadvantage on spell attack rolls they do. But that's actually what we want to do here. This is one of the tools that we will have to bugger spell attack rolls. If you're standing to someone and an enemy caster is just casting, let's say, simple firebolt, eldritch blast, what have you, at your target, you can impose disadvantage on those things as well, because they are attacks, they are attack rolls, hence they are attacks, hence you can pop your shield in between to try and make them miss. Obviously, you get a few spells at level 2 as well. Some nice pickups are Command, Bless, and Compel Duel. I really like Compel Duel here because it forces a spellcaster to attack you, and that's actually what you want. You want them to focus on you. Now, obviously important, it gives them disadvantage on attack rolls if they don't attack you, but it doesn't do jack shit when we're talking about casting spells that cause a saving throw. But still, I think a spellbreaker should have some tools to focus the enemy attention onto themselves. There's also a penalty when they want to move away too far and such. So Compel Duel is not a bad pickup battlefield control wise. Even when not facing spellcasters, Compel Duel gives you a nice tool to fight other people. As always, I'm a big fan of having tools to solve more than one situation. Level 2 obviously also gives us Smite, and Smite plays a double role here. Obviously, Smite always plays the role of I want to smack you hard, let's do this now. But especially at higher levels, Smite is capable of causing so much damage that the concentration check for your target is going to become really hard to do. And that is, of course, what we're aiming at. One of the things our Spellbreaker wants to do is break the concentration of spellcasters to get rid of those annoying spells. So Smite is a very important step in that progress. At level 3, a paladin gains their subclasses. They take an oath, and we are taking the Oath of the Watchers. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. We'll start with the spell list. They get a spell list that has C invisibility. The bane invisibility can be the bane of like any decent party. If you have no way of tracking those, a spellcaster turned invisible might run amok or just run away, which is even worse. Counterspell pops up in here as well, and that is going to be an important toy, though because we are a half-caster class, we only get it at level 9, which is the reason this is going to be my very first build video that is going to go all the way up to level 9 instead of level 8, just because I want to pick up sweet Counterspell. Banishment and Hold Monster appear at high levels as well, which is good. Crowd control to lock up those foul spellcasters. And you get Moonbeam if you want to do laser beams from the sky. That always works. I love me some laser beams from the sky. You get a Channel Divinity as well. I forgot the name. That gives advantage on intelligence, charisma, and wisdom saves to a number of people equal to your charisma modifier. So since you already have advantage on every spell, against every spell there is, this is actually easily used to provide advantage against half of the spells, basically, for your party members. It's a Channel Divinity, that means once per short rest at this point. And don't forget, thanks to Tasha's Paladins can also use Channel Divinity to regain a spell slot. So you'll have to keep in check where you are, what type of enemies that you're fighting. But this is one of the ways you'll have to protect your party members. Obviously, you also gain a turn Channel Divinity, and the Watcher can turn aberrations. So Celestials, Elementals, Fae, and Fiend. So the whole collection of creatures that don't really belong here, because that is kind of what the flavor of the Watchers is about. We're just using it for different purposes. Level 3 also means your 1T is going to give you a single cast of Suggestion, which can be fun to play with. Because obviously Suggestion is a strong mind control spell, but you could also use it for silly things that I will cover next level when we potentially pick up a feat. But important, you gain suggestion. You can mind control the spellcasters as well, and that is not that bad. Now we get to 4th level, where our mage slaying business really starts to take off. There's 2 options here. Either you take the boring option and you pump up your strength. That's solid, 18 strength, everybody loves that. Or you take the mage slayer feat, which is what his paladin is going to rely on half of the time to actively interrupt spellcasting. So we are going to get a lot of stuff that boosts our resistance to spellcasting by being a paladin, by being a watcher. But this actually will help you annoy the hell out of spellcasters. So when the creature within 5 feet of you casts a spell, you can use your reaction to smack him in the face, potentially triggering another concentration breaking save. When a creature that is damaged by you is concentrating on a spell, it has disadvantage on concentration saves. Look at that, even better. And when a creature next to you is casting a spell that affects you, you have advantage on saves against that spell. Now, obviously, that is not that important to us because you already have advantage against every spell ever as a 1T, but those first 2 are very important. Being allowed to smack spellcasters in the face and giving them disadvantage on concentration checks. That is really, really helpful. Obviously, if you are not picking up the feat right now because you're too scared of running around with 16 strength, then you will pick it up at level 8. End of story. You cannot make a mage slayer build without mage slaying. Get real. Level 5 gives us extra attack. Extra attack means more damage, means more breaking of concentration, and also gives us level 2 spells. Now, I am a big fan, I have become a big fan of Warding Bond, which is a spell that allows you to bump a target's armor class up by 1, give them resistance to everything basically, but when they take damage you also take an equal amount of damage. Basically you're splitting the damage, and that's another nice way of protecting people in your party from harmful effects. I think they also get extra saves and stuff. It's a really good defensive spell, and it fits the build we're doing here of protecting our party members from the foul effects of magic. So that's good stuff, really. Level 6, another important bump up. It's Aura of Protection. It's very simple. All of your spell saves and those of people within 10 feet from you, your friendly people of course, get bumped up by 3. Basically bumped up by your charisma modifier. So at this point you don't have any negative saves. Your charisma save is a whopping +10. Will be, well, that's at level 9 with a higher proficiency bonus, but still it's going to be really high. So now you're granting advantage on mental saves, +3 to all saves. You yourself have full magic resistance, and you can break concentration really easily on enemy spellcasters. So, you know, we're getting there. This is really good. Level 7 gives you your aura that is specific to your subclass. So this aura gives an initiative bonus equal to your proficiency modifier to everyone within 10 feet. So the same range as the other aura that you have. Extra initiative is good because you can get in the face of spellcasters sooner and start smacking their weak and puny asses. And that's actually what we're here to do. Another great level 2 spell to pick up, because you should be getting an extra prep slot here. Lesser Restoration, to get rid of all the foul evil spellcasters are doing upon your friends. It doesn't cleanse of everything, but it does cleanse of a few nice things. Level 8 obviously is the other half, so either you're getting Mage Slayer here or Strength, pick what you need. And then at level 9, so very important, Counterspell. Watcher Paladins are one of 2 Paladin subclasses, the other one being Redemption Paladins, that gain Counterspell. Now obviously, your Charisma is only 16, not 18 yet. So your Counterspell will be less reliable than, let's say, the Wizard, who could have 20 Intelligence by now and hence maxed out Counterspell. But it's still a very valuable in case of bad stuff happening, you might as well try to prevent it. If you can't prevent the counterspell, well, there's still advantage against saving throws, extra spell save from your modifiers, Mage Slayer. You get the idea. By now you have become a juggernaut, and enemy spellcasters talk about you like you're the boogeyman. And that is what we want to achieve. So successfully we have achieved our goal. Everybody should be happy. Don't hesitate to leave your comments down below with inspiration for other spell breakers, because I already have another idea. There's another obvious candidate for making a very nice spell breaker class. But maybe you have some cool ones, and if you want, you can share them. Maybe I'll adapt and not totally steal them. No, just kidding. I would obviously give you credit. A cool build in my next video. So, if all goes well, I'll see you all again in 2 weeks in the Attic Dungeon.